Movia, send it. Class link has been sent to you all. Please join fast. There are certain network issues here, and this I thought that as we are ending this year, so better we should have an essay class as well. When you all have joined, just give me a thumbs up so that I can continue. Okay, I guess we are good to go now. Well set to go. So, very good morning. Let's start our essay lecture 9. Most of the lectures we have covered till now is of have been of ethics, integrity, and aptitude, and many of them from psychology also. I have been covering the psychology foundation courses. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to meet few of the students offline as well, and their concerns I have solved, and their strategy for 2025-26 session was also covered. Now we'll continue with our essay lecture, where we'll cover the essay on women empowerment issue. Women empowerment or related to women, the issues related to women. Have been a major theme of UPSC essay topics. Many of the topics are concerned with this. Issues related. When we say issues related, what does it mean? Largely speaking, the topics hover around one theme, and that theme is we. We theme. What is we here? We is women empowerment. You see, UPSC is well aware of the fact that we have a patriarchal society, and due to the fact that there is a patriarchal society, there will be issues women face, and there have been large scale discrimination at various levels as far as women are concerned. So there has been a need to empower women since ages. And when I say empower women, society or men belonging to the society are in no position to empower them. They themselves will have to take the baton in their hands. How can you empower yourself? See, when we talk about the equality principle, everybody is equal, right to equality. When we talk about Article 14, which says that like should be treated alike. Means all are equal in the eyes of the law. But there is again Article 15 as well. Which says that there is a positive discrimination in favor of vulnerable sections. What does positive discrimination mean? Reservation is one aspect. We have to ensure that the laws are in favor of women. although it has been misused, laws, rules, regulations, the overall governance, overall ethical conduct of the government is in favor of positive discrimination towards women. Positive discrimination. And why it is happening? Because there is a need of positively discriminating in favor of women. Not only in favor of women, the other vulnerable sections of society like other backward classes, the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Now there is EBC, economically backward classes also. So these are the sections who have suffered through the ages. And many of you belonging to the psychology discipline know that what does it cause? It causes a prolonged deprivation, for some sections absolute deprivation, absolute deprivation means the basic needs themselves are not getting fulfilled. People are not getting food, people are not getting shelter, people are not getting safety. These are not getting met. Through the ages, not only one age, not only the forefathers, from the age of forefathers to father to the son, and so on and on. Likewise, the grandmother to mother and daughter, on and on. This prolonged deprivation, absolute deprivation through the ages leading to prolonged deprivation causes lots of issues. The same thing which has happened with the women of this country. Some ideas regarding women, how it evolved, the women empowerment issues, the discrimination against women, from where it came, you need to have, and which you definitely have, like the early Vedic age. If you look at the early Vedic age, largely was a matriarchal society. Society led by women, women deciding most of the issues. The people there were nature loving, they were worshipping nature, there were no idol worshipping, the rituals and all that was not there. But later Vedic age, in the later Vedic age, all the the problems of society can be traced back to this. From there, what started? The rituals, patriarchy, non-scientific approach, these all started here in the later Vedic age, and then it accentuated further in different ages. Now we come to our topic. When you get any topic, any generic topic, like the issues of we is women empowerment in India. This is the topic, a generic topic. It can be phrased in a different manner, but I have given you the simplistic version of it just for the sake of convenience. Okay, so if this is the case, then there are several ways I have told you how we can start with the essay. Most of the time, what I like and what I have seen by evaluating so many essay papers, what works the best, what works the most is your anecdotes. Starting the essay with the anecdotes, then giving examples. I have given you description, examples, analysis, narrative, argumentative narrative. These all techniques we use. But today we'll deal with it in a different manner. How? Let's develop our thesis statement. Thesis statement. Thesis statement is, in case of this topic, we will define first and foremost women empowerment. I am telling you how to start the essay. So right now what we are doing, thesis statement. In the thesis statement, what we'll say, women empowerment, V, is a process of change in the ecosystem to ensure improved social, economic and political decision making sphere in the hands of women. Now see, this is an elaborative definition. You can have your own simplistic version. Women empowerment is a process of empowering women to make decisions for themselves. You know what is the biggest issue with the discrimination against women in India? The biggest issue is that they are not given an opportunity to decide for themselves. Leave aside deciding for others. They are not even able to decide for their education, decide for their marriage, decide for their financial independence, decide for their career goals, decide for their partner, decide for their business, decide for many other things. Their political participation is abysmal. If you look at the pan-India scenario, their economic situation is really pathetic. If you look at their representation in higher echelons of civil services, you'll be surprised that there are very few. And I'll give you certain facts. See, women, though they become IAS, only 1 out of 5 women are given a posting of district magistrate. 1 out of 5. You know why? Because there is a perceived notion in the patriarchal setup of our society that women won't be able to handle their job and family. And that is why after 9 to 5 timing, they won't be available in the field. So there is a riot at the 2 a.m. They won't be there to take control of the situation. Largely, this is correct by the kind of interaction I have with the women working remotely. I have realized this fact that it is not altogether wrong, but to generalize it for all the women is absolutely wrong. There are certain issues, of course, they have to take care of the family, and if you look at the efficiency part, there are certain issues there. I know that there are issues there from the part of the women as well, but largely to say that the DM like Divya Mittal won't be available at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. if there is a riot, if there is an issue where she has to be called, or maybe Tina Dabi. No, that's not true. I have seen them working efficiently. thanks to social media and all, it's quite evident that they are efficient as men are. But what to do with the mindset? And there are certain examples also where this has been the case. So once we have defined it, then we'll say then women in India face issues like now you will enumerate certain things, and mind it that you can write in points in essay. There is no harm in that. In your essay, nobody is stopping you to draw a diagram, draw a flow chart or graph, draw a map of India if it is required. Nobody is stopping you to write in points. These are the suggestions given by the novices who are not expert enough to comment about these things. UPSC asks you to be as creative as you can. The only requirement is that your language should be simple. The flow of the organization of the essay should be such that the examiner is happy after reading it. You have got the context of the topic as we have seen in our tests. The context should be understood, but there is no harm in doing all these things. The only problem lies is that most of the aspirants I have seen who are good in GS in their optional, they keep on showing the examiner that I know GS. The examiner is not asking you to write general studies. You will say geographically speaking, politically speaking, economically speaking. Examiner is not asking you all these things. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to portray as if you know a lot about general studies? That idea itself is not at all well placed. What you have to do is to ensure the smooth writing. Once you have got the context of the essay, then I have told you how to explore the essay, describe the essay, explore the essay, be argumentative, build a narrative, Dean technique, DEAN. I have told you to give as many examples as you can. I have told you to write one theme in one paragraph. These things are important. Nothing else is required. There is no need of writing it in flowery language. But the problem lies in the basic sentence formation itself. And that shows there is a lot to do as far as schooling part is concerned. In the school itself, there has been lots of lacuna in learning. The schools encourage the rote memorization, and that is why the problems occur. So issues like, then you will enumerate the issues: political, economic, cultural, all these issues you will enumerate. Then you will say in this essay, now what to write? We will or I will? You can write I will. I will. There is no harm in that. Involve yourself. In the papers of essay and ethics, involve yourself. It should get a personal touch. Whosoever is suggesting you that you have to write in a third person, they are actually not aware of the fact that UPSC loves creativity as far as essay and ethics paper are concerned. You can write, I will. Explore these dimensions. And suggest measures. After objectively analyzing the framework available for women empowerment, because there is already existing framework also, we'll see there is a framework. This is women empowerment. Being done by whom? By the government policies. When we talk about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, this is a policy for women empowerment or not? As the child sex ratio improves, as they get educated, will they be empowered or not? Yes, they will be empowered. Once they get the employment, they will be financially independent as well. Government policies. Then we have legal framework, legal constitutional framework. The answer is yes. In favor of women, we have talked about Article 15. We have already talked about it. Then, are the NGOs, civil society working for it? Yes. There is an existing framework. For example, the Kailash Satyarthi is a very renowned social worker. Kailash Satyarthi. Bachpan Bachao Andolan, BBA, Bachpan Bachao Andolan, Bachpan. So what do this do? Rescue children who are in the unsafe situations. They have rescued lots of women also, children also, girl child also. So you see, the whole ecosystem is there. Then you will also say, we will also then you will say, I will also trace the history of women empowerment. History of how it has evolved since the time we got independence. Before independence, what was the situation? The efforts done by stalwarts like Jyotiba Phule, and Raja Ram Mohan Rai, yes, Binita Fogart, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, they'll be there or not? Yes, it will be there. So after saying this, you will finally suggest the examiner that in the end, I will suggest a framework to ensure that there is an ecosystem of women empowerment. There is an ecosystem of women empowerment focusing largely on the long-term and short-term measures. This gives a brief of what you are going to talk about. Basic thesis, it's an altogether different idea from what we have done earlier. Anecdotal, examples, relevant sections, one theme, one paragraph, flowing, one paragraph, one theme, connecting words so that this flow is smooth. It does not look completely academic, because the UPSC essay is not a completely academic. UPSC examination itself is not a completely academic endeavor. That is why you see people say that I belong to a particular college, Stephens, Miranda, so many colleges. Those who are actually belonging to humanity aspects, humanity people, humanity, they have studied humanities, of course, They have done the coaching also. You see their essay, you'll realize that quite academic, bookish, like a bookworm, not pragmatic. UPSC wants you to be pragmatic, practical, a street smart person. If you apply your common sense, if you go through the syllabus, if you have the strategies as I was talking about, that this overall ecosystem of building so many coaching institutions itself is fraudulent. The idea should be that the students should know that where they belong to as far as preparation of UPSC is concerned. In the first year of graduation itself, then they should develop their abilities, apart from the fact that they should develop a positive attitude and they should be enthusiastic and motivated to face the examination, which requires persistence, which requires perseverance. In the face of defeat, you'll have to continue your journey. But how long? Don't waste your youth here. I told you, there's no need to waste your youth. And what is happening? Why people are actually wasting youth? Because the examination has been made so complex. It has been shown that the examination is absolutely a rocket science, which is actually not true. What is true is, it's a simple examination. Just break it down to simple steps. Maintain consistency, maintain your motivation, follow the simple terms. As I told you regarding the essay, if you give me a real life example, pragmatic example, I tend to give you more marks. If you are writing absolutely bookish essay, I will not give you marks, neither will the UPSC examiner. Fine. So the problem lies in the orientation. The orientation is lacking. I'll give you a simple fact. Like for my personal mentorship, PM, those who were in regular touch with me, writing this year's mains 2023, you know what has been the percentage strike rate? How many of them are appearing for interview? 7 out of 10 appearing for interview. Those who are in the personal mentorship. Personal, this is just one program. 70%. 70% is a mammoth number. Strike rate absolutely high, like Virendra Sehwag's. 7 out of 10, only 3, and that too I'm not very sure where did they lack. One was from socio, another one from psychology, one from PSIR. These 3 did not clear, but others did. Out of these, few are so well prepared that they will definitely crack the exam and get a very, very good rank. In the very first attempt, let me tell you again, the very first attempt itself. Where is the problem? The problem lies in the orientation. The orientation being done in such a shabby manner, making things so complex. Why? Because if you make things complex, more and more people will be attracted to it, that okay, it's something difficult, that's why I need a coach. We want to break this. So you have built your thesis. Now the dimensions which you have enumerated here, these dimensions. Now you will say to the examiner, let's delve deep. You are like talking to the examiner. An essay is like the examiner is sitting in front of you and you are talking to the examiner through your copy. So you will say, let's delve deep into the political issues as far as women empowerment are concerned. Then you will give a framework. What are the political issues? First of all, you will say in the political sphere, what all is the problem. And there I'll give you a framework how to think. The problem is how to think is not told by anyone. What to think is told, fodder given to you, content given to you, but in the examination, especially the main examination, will check your generativity. When I say generativity, what does it mean? It means that you have to generate points on your own. Now you are always caught unawares because what has been taught to you in the universities. There is a problem with the university, colleges, schools. Again, they will give you a set of content. They will say just do the rote memorization. Your paper will be ready. You have to tick the right answer, write few sentences, and then it will be done. They were not asking you to critically analyze any concept. Have they ensured that there is group discussion? Have they ensured your grooming, how to speak confidently in public? Have they ensured how to take decisions as far as financial independence is concerned? Have they ensured if you have to take care of your family, what should be your plan? No, because this is the education which remains with you when you forget everything what schools have taught. And this is never taught by any of the ecosystem. So they tell you that just ratify things and just blurt it out, I will give you marks. But what should be done here? Here there is a way of thinking. Political sphere, follow a chronology. The problems start from the parliament. What is happening in the parliament? What is the political participation of women and the upper echelons in the cabinet? How many women cabinet ministers are there? You can even count them on your fingers, just a handful. How many MPs are there? Member of parliaments? Then again, very less. You will realize that is 7% or less than that. Then come to your policy making. This was like their representation, now policy making. Largely, the policies made in India have been made by whom? The men. Even for women empowerment, the policies are being made by men, largely speaking. So, from the perspective where they see women, it is absolutely insensitive. It has been insensitive rather. Or they have shown sympathy, sympathetic to the concerns of women, but not showing empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is much more than sympathy. Empathy is being in your shoes. Sympathy is being kind to you. Nobody wants to be treated sympathetically, but everybody wants empathy, the warmth which is required. That has been missing. Political participation, policy making. Now what? Policy making has been done. Now implementation. Who is implementing it? Again told you, at most of the levels in the state bureaucracy and the central bureaucracy, those who are looking after the implementation are men again. Largely speaking. And the focus of the governments till your 2010, in 2010 many things changed, has been on the output based on numbers. How many schools made, how many women went to the school, but they are not looking at whether girl child who goes to the school are being retained or not. Have they got all the facilities as far as education is concerned? As far as safety is concerned, when they are traveling from their home to the school, are they safe? Are they looking at the issue whether there has been an issue of malnutrition? Yes, there is. As we see in the rural India, still girl child is not preferred. They always want son preference, son, son preference is there. So the idea was that to ensure that the programs of the government of India become successful, they were just looking at the numbers. But what happened in the last decade was people started looking at the social aspect, that is social audit was brought to the mainframe, that it is not only about the outcome or output based on numbers, but what is the impact, the social impact. The problem with our rules, regulations, policies is that there has never been an assessment of the social impact. How it is going to change the scenario of the social problem? Like, see, Dowry Prohibition Act is there. Child Marriage Act, if somebody is involved in child marriage, they should be jailed. This act is there. So many acts are there, but why the success of these acts has not resonated with the society? Still people, it's not that people are asking for dowry, people are happily giving the dowry. The father of the bride is very happy giving as much as he can. I can understand the situation of a father. He always wants the life of his daughter to be comfortable, but rather than looking at this, enabling a facilitative environment economically, rather facilitate the education of the girl child, make her educated, make her empowered, let her take her own decision, let her choose her partner, make her so capable that she ends up choosing the right man. This should be the endeavor of most of the fathers in India. Now things are changing. I can see that, I can sense that it has changed, and it's changing like anything. But largely speaking, still the dowry is prevalent, and the biggest problem, extravagant marriages. You know what is the meaning of extravagant marriage? 5-star hotel booked, 100, 500, 1,000 guests, this catering, that catering, this arrangement, that arrangement, so many issues. Spending money like anything. Spilling money. The show of the filth. Rather than that, what could have been done? A simple marriage, and this whatever money is there, that could have been given to the bride and the groom as an asset. As an asset. But we indulge in this. Societal problems. So, the social impact has not been there as far as these acts are concerned. That also we'll analyze in the political sphere itself. Then we'll shift ourselves to your socio-economic dimensions. And while writing these themes, you have to give examples, because see, the examples are something which will separate you from other aspirants. The example should be yours, should be unique. Now, if you ask me how to think about the example, then I have no solutions. Because if you cannot think about the examples which you will put for a certain theme, then do you really believe that you belong to that you should prepare for IAS examination, then leave the preparation now only. An IAS officer is supposed to go through so much of the meetings, so much of the content, so many files, is supposed to lead from the front, is supposed to be the CEO of all the situations. How can you say that I cannot think of the example? That you have to do. See, unlike other places where a teacher will say, I will give you everything, that's not true here. Because I know that if you have to become, and then my end goal is only, I told you, 7 out of 10, such a good success ratio. 70% nobody can claim, although I can understand that the numbers are smaller, so that's why percentage is higher. If it would have been 100, definitely the number should have reduced, but still it would have been much higher than many other places. So examples first in the first paragraph, first theme. Then when you are shifting to the another paragraph, then you have to say, moreover, in the socio-economic ecosystem, likewise in the socio-economic ecosystem, the connecting word should be there, so that the examiner does not feel lost and examiner does not feel that there is a sudden bump on the road. It should be a smooth ride for the examiner. One thing. Secondly, don't highlight too much as far as essay is concerned. Highlight only the headings. Give a heading, write things. Go ahead. If you keep on highlighting so many things, the examiner will not be able to read your essay. How many words of there are in the essay? One essay is your 1000 words. How much time do you think a seasoned examiner will take to read all these things? Hardly 10 to 15 minutes. Hardly. So, do you think that you should force even in that 10 to 15 minutes? Should you force the examiner to read only the highlighted parts? The answer is no. Let the examiner read. Highlight very scantily. Scanty highlighting should be there. Sporadic sometimes. So, in the socio-economic dimension now, largely you will say that women don't participate in the decision making as far as economic decisions are concerned for the other family members and for themselves. You see the situation, the approach in large part of the India, rural India, is that rather than spending a good amount of money on daughter's education, save it for her dowry. Such a biased decision making, economic decision making. Which college you should go, which school you should go, how much you should spend, that all will be decided by the family. And being a patriarchal system, the Ben, that is your father, may be enabling you to spend as much as the family can afford, but still you will see largely here comes the catch. Largely mothers are found to be choosy. In which aspect? They will be having a preference for the son if there is a family. I'm talking about a generic understanding in general in the rural areas, the backward areas. So they will be saying that the expenditure should be on son's education, his clothes, his food, good nutrition given, more attention given, emotional attachment also to the son being much higher, and that actually results into most of the problems psychologically speaking. The over attachment with the mother creates a weak man. That's a harsh truth. Okay, so here you see the decision making as far as how to spend the money is also not in favor of women. Which courses you should enroll to, like you have grown up, now you are going to the college, that is also largely decided by the family or father. that rather than going to your creative arts, better prepare for MBBS NEET examination. Not giving any freedom. They are imposing the decision on you. You see, and if you look at the societal hierarchy, these are the lower strata, middle strata, and upper strata. People in the upper strata can afford to favor their girl child, afford. But still, if you look at their restrictions as compared to the men in their family, you will realize that restrictions are much higher. Then comes the middle class. This is the class, this is the strata which suffers the most because of its reliance on 10 person approach. 10 लोग क्या कहेंगे, that approach. Because of that, they are not ready to give freedom to their daughters. They are not ready to let the daughter study well, to choose the profession she wants to. Lower, we should not even talk about. They are hand to mouth most of the times. So how can they think of supporting the girl child? In fact, in many of the cases, the lower class people, lower strata people rather, sorry to use the word class, lower strata people, they tend to support their daughters much more than the middle strata people. So this shows your analysis, how you have the understanding of the society. Okay, socio-economic sphere. Likewise, you can then analyze the cultural dilemma in which we are. Cultural, so culturally being patriarchal, and see, when you are analyzing the socio-economic dimensions, in that again you have to give your own examples that will fetch you marks. Culturally, being patriarchal society, you can understand the burden of patriarchy, the kind of culture we are. Nobody is there to support women. Because of the culture in which we are, as we call it, the culture of poverty. And you will realize the burden of this culture of poverty if I give you an example. You just visualize the slum. Say Dharavi slum in Mumbai. In a family, the father, either a rickshaw puller or a daily wage earner, earns very small amount of money on a daily basis, spends large part of it on some bad habit, either gambling or being a drunkard or any other vice he might be having. Largely, very less money left. How to ensure that the family will have a secure upbringing? Despite all these things, they are breeding children after children. So there are 8 children in one family itself. 8 children. You see the situation. The 8 children are not a burden on the man, but largely a big burden on the woman. The health of the woman, her life expectancy, the stress, nutrition aspect. Mothers care the most. If the children are not fed well, who will be under the stress, accentuated stress? Mothers more than the father. Culture of poverty. Various other examples can also be given in this aspect. I'm just showing you trailer of what all can be done in each aspect. The whole movie you can definitely frame on your own just by getting the ideas from here. And you should be in a habit of writing, then only the ideas will come. Then what all you will write? We have analyzed your main issues: political, socio-economic, cultural. Then, since most of you are from psychology background, you can also explore this dimension, socio-psychological. Now, under that, what we have to trace? One is that the stereotype, which leads to discrimination. Now, the catch here is that whenever you use words like stereotype, just briefly define it. Don't assume that the examiner will be knowing each and everything about the psychological terms. Don't at all assume. In your optional, you can use these terminologies very easily. Neither in GS paper 4 ethics nor in essay. If you are using it, explain it. Because what I saw, some people were writing affect, which is a synonym of emotion, in their GS paper 4. Now, why think, feel, act? I gave you for attitude rather than giving you cognitive, affective, behavioral. What I gave you, think, which is cognitive, this is feel, and behavioral is act. Think, feel, act, TFA. Think, feel, act will fetch you more marks if we talk about essay and ethics paper than your cognitive, affective and behavioral dimensions. Fine. This you have to understand. So, the stereotypical mentality leading to discrimination. At which level? Now, when we are tracing the discrimination, trace the history from childhood or before childhood, before birth actually. Before birth, what happens? There is female feticide, female fetus itself is killed before the birth. After birth, girl child neglected. Girl child is neglected, relatively deprived. As compared to the son in the family, the boys in the family get a better treatment. Boys in the family will be treated much better, right? Then what will happen? Then as the child grows, then malnutrition, lesser opportunities of education, and malnutrition, lesser opportunity of education, then harassment. It's almost an open secret that a girl child, even the children, a young age children, are harassed at home, both boys and girls, more so girls. The family members, the relatives, those who are in the close proximity, that impacts their psyche like anything. Their self-esteem is punctured, suffers self-esteem, self-confidence. Already they are suffering from the patriarchal mindset. They are suffering from the malnutrition, lesser opportunities. Now these things accentuate the situation. Fine. Then what? Suppose you go to a village of Rajasthan. You will realize the large part of the country still reeling under that mentality that women should not be given opportunity to marry late. So what happens? This age group, 18-21, in this age group they get married. I'm talking about the phase when we have come out of the child marriage, early marriage situation. Here they are not getting married early, but still getting married at this age also is a dehumanizing situation, because there you don't get the opportunity to do the graduation well, or even if you have done your graduation, that's enough. Now every family wants to get rid of the burden. They call women the burden, they call the girl child the burden. Married early with the dowry. Now dowry harassment will start. Most of the cases dowry harassment starts. So many women lose their life or suffer this domestic violence, DV. Either domestic violence, they are alive but still dead, or they are themselves dead, died, burned. Still this is the situation in many parts of the country. Now suppose you have come out of this trap and you are working somewhere. You get into a job situation, in the job. Now what happens? Firstly, you have to, as I told you, the district magistrates, it is the perception in the administration that the women should not be given a field duty, rather they should be put up in the directorate. In the directorate as an assistant director, secretarial level. Be in the ivory tower, be in the comfort of the secretariat, don't go to the field. Then split identity. Will be there. Then at the workplace what will happen? One is your glass ceiling. You are not meant to rise above the desk level, at the reception level. Most women are stuck at the reception level, at the desk level. They are not given the opportunity to grow to the level of being officers, being your managers, very few of them, because they are not found to be effective managers according to the patriarchal system where task oriented leadership is preferred. This is people oriented leadership. This is task. In our country, or rightly so actually, most leaders focus on the task, because see, the focusing on people has its own perils. Lots of situations you will face. Sitting on this side of the table, running a business, I can tell you, if you focus on people, people take you for granted. That's also one of the problems. But anyway, task oriented leadership is found to be effective. Now women are found to be this people oriented, so they are categorized as inefficient. But what is the best type of leadership? This. You have to show concern for a task and people both. Manage the emotion of the people, manage your own emotion while interacting with them, emotional intelligence, EI. But get the work done also efficiently. Don't compromise with the standards of excellence. So what happens here? What we find is women, that's why, are not supposed to be efficient managers. Then at the workplace, this is very, very prevalent. Now, in the modern arena, it has become gender neutral. To give you a shocking fact, as I see my interaction with the corporates in places like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi and all, it is not only that the female employees are harassed by the male bosses, but male employees are also being harassed by the female bosses. Not in equal percentage, but yes, yet it is also happening. Just to give you a gender neutral analysis. But largely speaking, women are suffering the most. And it is so prevalent that it has become the norm now. People in certain industries, they have made it a norm. Certain creative industries, they have accepted it and nobody is raising any questions against it. These are the things which you have to highlight. Now, once you have highlighted the problems, then you will say, as discussed in the introduction of this essay, now I will discuss the, now I will analyze the existing framework. अब आप क्या बात करोगे? Existing framework. What will happen in the existing framework? We have already talked about. You will talk about the laws. You will talk about the policies. You will talk about the social agencies, media. Though media is definitely not playing its role, but still some of the media houses have done a wonderful job, which led to Vishaka judgment, anti-sexual harassment acts at the workplace, and during the Nirbhaya case also media played a very good role. That you have to highlight the existing framework. Then after this you will say, before giving the long-term solution for transforming the ecosystem in the country, let us also see how far have we traveled. Now you will trace the women empowerment situation. I'm just giving you a graph. You will have to trace it in the words. Women empowerment. If we look at the centuries like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on and so forth, the situation was like a plateau largely. but in 80s 90s it improved. Nowadays if you look at this 10 and 20, 2010 2020, it has shot up. It's going up. There are certain challenges, but it is going up. Upward trend is there. Women empowerment. This you have to catch in the words. You can give certain ideas about the historical framework, what was done pre-independence. Just a glimpse of it. What happened? Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, and many other social reformers, what they did for women empowerment. That continued, the journey continued, and after getting independence, so many laws came. We got our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi as the first lady Prime Minister of the country. Likewise, we got Kiran Bedi as the first lady IPS of the country. In so many other dimensions, the improvement happened. Now you see women being recommended for army jobs as well, tactical jobs as well. So the situation has improved, but there are challenges. You will say, yes, situation has improved, but there are challenges. And we are at the crossroads. How? We are a young country. So much of youth energy of the youthful creativity, demographic dividend. If the education in our country changes, if we make the education more creative, if we allow, facilitate critical thinking in the children and value education also, then the perils of the urbanization, which is evident in USA and other developed countries. The problem with the USA is that a 14-year-old boy is holding a gun and a 14-year-old girl is holding a baby. This is quite unfortunate in the developed countries like USA, where value education, the cultural assimilation has not happened, the system of civilization has not been taught to the children, and that's why they, being impressionist, nimble mind, they can be molded towards value education. Unfortunately, that situation is not there. That ecosystem is not existing. So if we can do this, from the crossroads, we can travel to not only the $5 trillion economy, but also towards a value-laden development. Right? So you are projecting your vision. Now you will give the pragmatic solutions. Solution will be coming from the problems itself, the problems which you have ensured. Likewise, the solution will be based on the ecosystem. We need to have more representation of women in all spheres of life, especially the political, socio-economic and cultural leadership position. Right? Then we should have an facilitative environment for entrepreneurial journey of women. Entrepreneurs. When men are entrepreneur, yes, women reservation bill, yes, rightly mentioned, the women reservation bill is a very good step towards this that you have to mention. women entrepreneurs should be facilitated, should be supported, given a ecosystem of growth. Then the patriarchal mindset, the patriarchy, that needs to be changed. Who all need to work? Media needs to work. The social agencies, they need to work. And last but not the least, every individual is responsible for making changes. As I told you, the great stalwarts like Mother Teresa and Martin Luther King used to say that it's not that you become the... Yesterday I was watching this movie 12 Fail. Excellent movie. If you cannot become the sun which will remove the darkness from the earth, at least become a lamppost which will remove the darkness from your street. And before illuminating the world outside, illuminate your inner conscience. Listen to the call of the conscience. That's why when I was, this is the story of a serving bureaucrat, Manu Jha Sir. He is a DIG right now, I think DIG or IG. You can see people belonging to such humble background, humble, absolutely. Not having enough money to study, struggling so much just to make the ends meet. Not having any table, chair or any AC or Wi-Fi. Sitting in one of the filthiest places, not having enough light also. Somehow struggling, still making it, still getting such a very good rank. You know what works there? The honesty, the honest effort, willpower. Once the human will inside you gets motivated, and you know from where this motivation comes. This motivation does not come from outside. Look for it and you will find it. We keep on giving excuses that I don't have this, I don't have that. Actually, what we are given, what we are endowed with, we don't utilize that effectively. And if we keep utilizing that effectively and keep looking for the support which is needed, also, you should also be looking at the support. If you can look at the support, if you are willing to go an extra mile, then your journey will be much smoother. You are in a much more privileged position. Always realize, we think the grass is always greener on the other side. Actually, that is not true. The grass will be greener where you water it. So always believe that you have got the best situation, and whatever situation you are, make the best of it. You know what should be your aim? I always say this. I found the same thing being told in the movie as well. Don't think of the chair in which you are going to sit glorifying you. Chair should not glorify you. You should sit on the chair and you should glorify the chair. Don't let the situations, don't let the salutes, don't let the salary, don't let the perks, don't let the social prestige glorify you. You glorify the chair so much that people feel that this is the person we were looking for since ages. When you enter the interview board and talk to them, you don't stand up and leave the room. They stand up in your honor. And I have seen people, when they enter the interview board chairman stands up just to give respect to the candidate. So much of maturity. Who? At 20-25 years old. Young man or woman. so much of confidence in their abilities. You should always be confident about your own abilities. That is what the teachers don't suggest. Most of the teachers will always keep on saying you that you won't crack it, you need my support and all this. I always tell my students, you don't need my support. If you have understood the technique which I always work for, it doesn't matter whether you have studied from my classes or not. You have taken help from me, you achieve your goal, you live a successful life, I get all my Guru Dakshina. But it is painful to see people working too hard and then not achieving their goals, because it's very tough. You might not have understood the vagary of the situation. Nobody likes failures. Having said so, if you have to become successful in life, you have to see the bigger picture. This one examination is not going to justify or define your success. Your success will be in the work you do to get the best of your potential, to be the best version of yourself. With this message only, I'll end the class. This is our last essay class in this year. We'll continue our journey next year as far as these essay classes are concerned. Thank you very much for joining. Enjoy the day.